Hey you guys, Mayhem37X bringing episode 57 of Epic Battle Fantasy V. Last time, we finished up business in the Forgotten Ruins, cleared out a couple encounters there, and took care of another section of the Grand Gallery. I think it was this room here, or this one of those two. And basically we did a few more final bits of prep work for the next premium dungeon here. Just as a warning, the dungeon itself is pretty simple. There's only a couple required fights in this dungeon. It's an interesting take on it's a unique dungeon, but the boss is very hard. You are going to need some serious prep work for this boss. Just giving you a heads up, you are probably going to want to do whenever you decide to do this dungeon, you'll want to do everything you can up to that point. So like for me right now, for example, and probably you guys too, I suspect, there's probably at least a couple more Grand Gallery rooms you could take care of. I might recommend you do that, and honestly, I might end up doing that before I end up fighting the boss. We'll see how things go pacing-wise. But this is going to be a tough boss. This is one of the one of the optional bosses I'd say that's the hardest, especially for your first time playing. That being said, let's go ahead and hop into it here. So this is the Mineshaft Maze. I forgot that the music is actually the same. For some reason, I really wasn't expecting that to be the case. Sure. Okay, so this is a maze. This is kind of, I think every Epic Battle fan, at least obviously from 3 onwards, has had a kind of Lost Forest, or Lost Woods from Legend of Zelda kind of area. This is that, taken to an extreme. One thing I'd like to, so it doesn't immediately loop, this maze is actually huge. It's not entirely like a looping gimmick, and you have to like find a specific path. It is an actual maze, you can map it out. I actually did that. I attempted to do that at least my first time through, and you can see it's quite large. The map ended up falling apart once I got to the points that started to loop, because it does loop. It is an endless maze. It only loops in a few spots. And also, one thing, before you get any further, one important thing to note, if you save and quit, it will put you at the start of the maze. This is, I think, as far as I'm aware, this is the only area in the game that does this. That way you cannot get permanently lost in this area, which is nice. It's also a convenient way to fast travel back to the start as well. Now, one more thing. I have blindly explored this place once before. I found almost everything on my first try, but I'm obviously not going to try and do that again, and you guys don't need to do that either if you're not, if you don't mind blindly exploring. Feel free to skip ahead a bit in the video, but I do have a map, and I'm going to go ahead and show it to you guys because it's very convenient to know exactly where to go in this place. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the map here. You see it's quite large. Every place where there's like this shading, so like this is a screen. So you can see this is a large map. This is a very large map. Everything's circled are the significant things. This was a map Matt himself shared publicly. He posted it in his Patreon, but if it was just the Patreon, I wouldn't be showing it, by the way. But he also shared it publicly in the EBF Discord, so this is completely fair game, which is nice because I'm able to show it to you guys without me having to like make my own or something. So this is where you start. The fights, there's 2 required fights. There's one in front of each of these side rooms called puzzle rooms. Those are the only required fights in the entire dungeon. All of these are, honestly, I mostly just ended up using them as landmarks for where, like, kind of significant spots. I honestly don't even plan to fight these fights. It's an optional dungeon. They don't give experience. They don't, I think they might give items. They don't give SP. They don't give AP. They give nothing. It's not worth fighting them, in my opinion. I think I'll hop into each of them and show you guys, like, the first wave. It's just not worth the time. These are mostly all enemies we've seen before. If there's any new ones in the first wave, I suppose I'll catch them. But obviously the things we want are the chests, the puzzle room, and we want to end it off with the boss. I went ahead and mapped out what I believe to be, yeah, it's probably not the most efficient, but it's kind of the most obvious route to me. So this is the route we're going to be taking through the dungeon. We're going to get both of the puzzle rooms hopefully done in this video. Depending on how long the fights we take, we might get most of the, if not the whole dungeon done. We'll have to see. Obviously, the only things I made sure to stop by are all the chests, but all of the enemies ended up being kind of on the way, so I just made like a slight detour just so we can look at this one. So that's kind of what we got going on. I'm going to keep this over in the other monitor so that I don't get lost. So that's the route we're going to take here. If you have the map, there's also, as far as I'm aware, there's no hidden items. Again, at least as far as I'm aware. so you don't have to worry too much about that. This place does look and feel very cool. It's a really neat dungeon, and it's definitely one of the most unique in the game, I'd say. Also, earthquake weather, kind of annoying. So here we just have the steam fish, level 27. It's like I said, the fights, there's just no good reason to fight the optional battles. So my robots dig for metal ore and fossil fuels. They've made a lot of progress. A lot of the machines have either rusted away or gone rogue. So this is stuff that even Lance didn't. He kind of, I guess, knew it was happening, but he doesn't really know exactly what's going on down here. Okay, so there's that. Oh, wait, I almost already took my first wrong turn. So up here is our first puzzle room. So this is a required fight, so we'll obviously go ahead and do this one. Okay, are you set up for instant death strats? Okay. We can make that work. We can kill a couple of these guys, actually. I was thinking of switching him to Masamune legs, but I think the instant death should work well enough that we'll stick with that. Okay, and then we'll just switch in Lance or Matt here and do a bit of defense. Okay. So of course here he's not here. The whole instant death's not gonna be any good here. But also this guy's virus, so that'll probably be something. Oh, okay. Double stagger is very nice. Let's do this. Debilitate. And then we can have Matt hopefully just kill one or both of these guys, depending on if I can make him take another turn. I kind of want to kill the one with the virus, actually. Yeah, let's do that. It's not staggered, but based on that damage amount, it's pretty likely that Matt could just kill this guy anyway. So let's just do that. Yeah, okay. We're good. Okay, so this is one of the last times I think I'm going to bring this up this prominently, but because as far as live streaming goes, I think tonight I will have already decided, but in the past couple videos I'll have been adding, can these guys be? Oh wow, this is actually a bad round to try and do the instant death strats, I see. Alright, well that's fair enough. Okay, that's dark element juice. That's like doubly bad. Alright. That's honestly not that big a deal, though. Okay. Yeah, sure. Let's set this up for next turn. Oh, wait, those guys heal from this? Yeah, okay. The stagger's still good, though. So yeah, basically, I'm running a poll right now. Like I said, I think by the time that this video goes out, I will have already decided what I'm going to be playing. Currently, the things in the lead are... Or currently, modded Terraria is in the lead, actually, which is not something I was... Basically, I left it up to a poll. I left it up to you guys to decide what you wanted me to play. And, the one that's... Wow, almost all of the stagger just went away. Oh, okay, that's fine. The one that's... The game that's won most of the time has been modded Terraria, actually, which is not... I wouldn't say is something I was expecting. I guess I neglected how universally enjoyed Terraria is. And modding is... I've never modded the game. Oh, this was a poor choice. I guess fire is pretty good. Alright, let's just do this to focus. Let's just at least kill this one guy. That's right, and they heal for it too. Oh my god, okay. It's actually pretty hard to find the good elements that work against all these enemies. I think that was probably the point. Okay, inflicted doom. Just give him haste. Okay. Interesting. Alright, the virus is making its rounds right now, which honestly, it's starting to help us a bit, so that's not too bad. So I would expect modded Terraria tonight, unless the polls ended up shifting a different direction. Yeah, whatever. So that, I think, is going to end up being my main game for the time being. The thing is, basically, it's only going to be my main game until Legend of Bumbo comes out, which that I think is a series I will actually be uploading to YouTube as well, because I've at this point I have a history of putting Edmund McMillan games on my channel, so most likely I will actually be uploading those VODs as well. But certainly you'll be hearing more about me. You'll be hearing more from me about Bumbo as we get into release date, and I think an official trailer is coming soon. So that game is going to be coming in the next couple months, I would expect. Okay, that was interesting. Not sure if that was necessarily good or not. So that's very exciting, and that's one I will definitely be streaming a lot of as well. Yeah, so that's kind of the agenda for the moment. Risk of Rain 2, I'm going to continue playing on Fridays, I think is what we've decided on. Risk of Rain 2 is pretty popular in the polls as well currently, but not quite popular enough to win. And like I said, I'm going to be streaming it on Fridays anyway, so the fact that it isn't my main game doesn't really matter because you guys are still going to be seeing it like once a week, so that's not too bad. I think that ended up coming to a reasonable compromise. This guy's getting virus, which is actually pretty useful. I would consider that a nice outcome. Yeah, so we got that coming up. We've got hold on, sorry. Let's do this. We've got but new Binding of Isaac DLC coming out this year. We've got Borderlands 3 coming out later this year. So we've got a lot of stuff, and if any of that sounds appealing to you, please feel free to drop a follow in the description, like I've always said. I really appreciate you guys. But anyway, back to the game here. Overall, this fight's not too bad, really. A lot of zombie hands. This is actually a really poor time for me to... I mean, really, I only kept him with this build because I forgot to switch it off of him, to be honest. But it ended up being an even worse choice than I would have expected it to be, which honestly is fine. Also, optional area, so I don't care that he's dead. That being said, I think for the other fight it might be okay. I honestly don't know. We'll play that one by ear once we get to that point. Okay. And obviously at this point we can just keep this guy locked down forever. So there's really no challenge left in this fight. He's got virus, which is kind of useful. Just helps to tick down the damage a little bit faster. We could do a bit of a tired poison setup, actually, which I think I will go ahead and do. Just to... I guess I shouldn't have had that be the staggered hit. That's like pretty minor mistake there, obviously. Because we're certainly going to win this fight anyway. Oh, you get 2 turns, right, okay. Let's do this for a little bit of bonus damage here. Okay. So like I said earlier, you're really gonna watch out for this boss. I ended up spending, I want to say I spent about a stream and a half on that boss. Was that when I was streaming 4 hours too? I don't remember actually. It could have been. It was anywhere between like 4.5 to 6 hours I spent combined between preparing and actually implementing the strategies that I came up with. So it's a tough fight. Just to give you a heads up, we certainly are not gonna, probably won't even have time to take a peek into that fight in this video, but it's a tough fight. Again, just giving you a fair warning. Okay, so this is our first puzzle room. 2 puzzle rooms like this one. These are the power stations of the whole tunnel. What does this guy have to say? Gust. I always end up back where I started. Isn't that what you want, though? Don't you want to end up where you started, which is the beginning of the maze? I live off the condensation and scum on the walls. I defecate in a bucket. Okay. 3 or 4 hours now. I thought, him saying that, I thought there was actually a bucket in this room, but I don't think there is, actually. I thought there was, but I guess not. Okay. So, as you can see, this is a puzzle. You can see most of the puzzles in this area are pretty open-ended. You can see in this case you can actually start from 2 different ends here. I'm gonna just kind of take a shot in the dark at a solution really quickly, but I can already tell this is wrong. I can already immediately tell this is wrong. The thing is also technically you can start even more places than that because you can do what I just did and just kind of... You can do weird things in this puzzle. There is a straightforward solution, but right now I don't remember what it is, so I am actually going to be right back. I'm going to go pull up my live stream of these, because truthfully I don't remember what the solution is, and I don't really want to sit here trying to figure it out, so I'll be right back. Okay, so for this one, this is the solution I came up with. I'm sure that... I guarantee, actually, there are a lot of solutions to this puzzle. Just because some of the... yeah, I think I showed it off a bit before. One of the things you can do is you can pretty much go midway into the puzzle, and you can start on almost any single section of this puzzle. I find it the most reasonable to just start from one of the two obvious starting points, and this one seemed like the best choice. But in reality, you could very easily start from here and just do this half and go up here. It really doesn't matter, actually, which one you start with. But you see, this is the solution I came up with, so this is what I'm going to be doing. It's not... I would consider this one a little bit tricky to think about, but overall, I would say this puzzle's not too bad. The main catch is that I think we've seen these tiles before. I can't exactly remember. But basically, this is a tile where you can... You're not forced to... you can step on it as much as you like. So that's... This typically is a good spot for you to just kind of sit and think about... just to, like, contemplate. Because normally you can do some pretty cheesy things in blocks like that. So it's always good to wait and just think about those. A lot of these individual sections really only have one or two reasonable solutions to them. So basically the best way to go about it is you just kind of find the best route through all of the sections and then just kind of see how it all pieces together. This is a puzzle where my usual strategy is I like to start from the end and work backwards, but that actually doesn't work here because there really is no set beginning or end. So it's a little bit tricky using that kind of thinking. Also, you see the whole room gets much brighter, as well as these are the power rooms after all, so we just turned on the power for this section. So the rewards we get are robot ears and mecha suit, matching set of female armor, and we get some steroid items for Anna, so not too bad. Let's go ahead and check out that armor. The robot ears here. Randomly cast Cat Sniper, that's an attack. I think we have that summon. Has a chance to kill instantly. Here we go. Shoots a foe in the face, which may kill instantly with a bit of luck. 30% for an instant death is not too bad. So the fact that you can have that randomly go off is... It's not bad. Weakness to electricity, okay resistances. Overall, honestly, a bit mediocre. This is not a piece I've ever really used. Also, it's very rare that you actually want both of these weaknesses at once. Doesn't do anything interesting at max level either. This one boosts the damage of bomb skills, randomly cast Cap Bomber, which I believe is another... Whoops. It's another one we have. Where is this guy? Here we go. Throw a bomb at a foe, magic damage, and stagger. So that's pretty good. Again, it's another free bomb attack. The fact that it can stagger is nice. No interesting effects. These pieces are reasonably defensive, but again, you get the weakness to electric. Doesn't do a whole lot interesting, really. So not one of the better pieces of armor, but, you know, it's not too bad. I forgot, let me go pull up my overall map here. Okay. So we may not get quite as far as I was expecting this time, but we'll see. We'll see how we do. I don't remember. I think the next puzzle room fight is a little bit lengthy. But I think we'll try and power through it here. There's a big mechanical boss here. Maybe we could follow its tracks through the tunnels. Yeah, that's actually the... drawing a map might also help us. Yeah, I tried that. It's tough, especially when you start looping. You really don't know when you've looped without looking at a map already. So it's actually really hard to tell when you've gone through a loop point. Okay, so that chest I think just had not too much of interest in it. I think most of there's some pretty good chests here, but most of the main loot you get is actually from the puzzle rooms. Oh, never mind, you get the shooting star here. It's an interesting staff, not one of the more useful, I would say. Boosts her elementals, or her non-elemental skills. She hardly has any. Basically, it's just the shooting star and star shower stuff. That's one of the only ones. Randomly lucky star, that's like okay for a free effect. Randomly cast star shower between turns. Upgrade it one more time. It's pretty expensive to upgrade. Nice resistances. Free star shower is pretty nice. It's a free AoE that you know that's gonna be good because it's non-elemental, so it's always gonna do something. But overall, still, I'd consider it a bit on the weak side. Pretty good for a magic attack though, for a decent magic attack stat. But overall, not too impressive. Let's check this. 3 waves. Okay. I think we're gonna do this one next time, and instead we're gonna take a slight detour, and I'm just gonna go pick up the other chest over here. I know we're gonna kind of be doubling back a little bit, but I figure I'll just show it off. But oh, it's impossible to explore them all. If the round Earth theory is correct, which I believe it is, these tunnels loop around the Earth and back to the beginning. Not programmed to write a comprehensive status report. That seems like it would have been good to do. So basically, that's your hint that it loops. considering it's a maze, and mazes in this series typically have been endless, I kind of assumed that from the start, but they do also just outright confirm it. Okay, not too bad, couple stat items. I also noticed these monoliths, these rocks look strikingly similar to the monoliths we've seen, the black and red rune monoliths. So that's interesting. I didn't actually notice that the first time through, but that's there might be something to that. I'm not sure actually. Okay, so that is going to do it for this video. Next time we're definitely going to finish up the rest of this and maybe start prepping for the probably not, honestly. Because there are still a couple more big fights, lengthy fights we have to do. We have to finish exploring the dungeon and all that stuff, so... but next time we should finish the majority of the dungeon itself, at least. But, yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Like I said earlier, check the description for a link to my Twitch.tv channel, where I suspect I'll be streaming modded Terraria, but I really won't know for sure until the poll is done. But I do appreciate all you guys' feedback on what you guys want me to play. Very insightful. It's not what I would have expected. The results are definitely not quite what I was expecting them to be. But that's good. It means that I'm making sure that I'm doing what you guys want to see. But also check the Discord if you want to keep in touch. It's a good place to, you know, when I do stuff like the polls, that was the Discord people were some of the first ones to know, and it's the easiest way to keep up with stuff like that. Yeah, like I said, next time we're just going to... Oh, that's not useful. Next time we're going to... Maybe I should show this map. Finish up down here, go through all these extra areas, and maybe take a peek into the boss room. We'll see. But, yeah, thank you guys again for watching, and I will see you guys later.